Hi there, welcome to the PunkBordello podcast. When we sit down with this next guest, we would very much like for you to like, follow, share, subscribe on all platforms. You can also check out our Bandcamp. We will be releasing the whole album on Bandcamp for Pay What You Want very soon here. That is it. That is all. New and refined intro, y'all. Thank you. Hello, welcome to the Punk Bordello podcast. Here we have Kennedy from Moon Destroyer.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing all right. That's an interesting name, Moon Destroyer.
Yeah.
Uh, so where did that come from?
Are you familiar with the band Foster the People?
Yeah, actually, I have kind of a weird. So I have all these like weird like connections, not. I mean, I've met some celebrities myself, but like I have more instances of like weird happenstances. Like somebody will tell me the story, uh, like they met Nick Foster. This one person I knew specifically was like, "Oh yeah, I met Nick Foster at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting."
That's
Like,
crazy. Wait,
yeah,
Mark Foster?
Nick Foster of Foster the
Nick
People,
Foster.
or
Oh,
is it Mark Foster?
yeah.
Okay, I mean, I might that's just me butchering the name.
No, that's
I don't know,
totally fine.
but okay, I
That's
don't know.
crazy though.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, that was the only thing I heard of the story. So I mean, it's
I
just
mean,
it's just weird shit like that, or like I know somebody who was like flipped off by Adam Sandler or something like that. I was at one of the bands that I toured in. The guitar player worked for Budweiser, and in Los Angeles, like what, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, and he's delivering somewhere on the Sunset Strip, and he's like, yeah, and then Julia Roberts almost hit me with her fucking car. And I'm like, well, how did you know? Like, she's in a car. How did you know it was Julia Roberts? And he's like, I fucking took a picture of the plates, and I fucking
that's wild.
and I looked it up. It's fucking Julia Roberts. I'm like, all right,
That's
that's
crazy.
strange. Also, fucking, they lived in this same band. They lived in the same hotel that became an apartment complex afterwards, but the same hotel that Janis Joplin died
Oh, that's
in
wild.
LA. And they met Scott Weiland's girlfriend. And
Dang.
also Scott Weiland in an elevator. They said he looked like really bad, and he's like, he said he like the only interaction they ever had with him, like they were in this elevator with him. And he's like, man, I feel like shit. And then the dude, like the dude I was in the band with, he looked at him. He's like, yeah, years of heroin use will do that to you, man.
Yeah, that must be so jarring to just like
Yeah.
see famous people all the time.
Yeah, and the other thing is like he said that this girl, supermodel, whatever, girlfriend of his would like she would literally just like take out a bag of mushrooms and eat them like they were like chips.
That's wild.
And then like I mean there's just so many more stories like just from this one person, because she would kind of just like walk around like she owned everything, like so they'd come home from like work or some shit, and they'd just see her like in their apartment, like, how the fuck do you get in here? Like, and
That's
it's like,
crazy.
well, I asked them, I'm like, did you ever like do anything with her to warrant that kind of like, they're like, no, dude, I wouldn't hit that with a stick, bro. Like,
That's insane.
yeah, it's really just because like it was more of like this person is not in like a state of sanity whatsoever, and it's
Yeah.
like really kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Uncomfortable. You
Yeah.
know? But I mean, that's kind of what that sort of lifestyle does to you. You know, there's kind of no cheese at the end of the tunnel. But I digress. Anyway, enough about that. So Foster the People, Moon Destroyer. How did that? Is it like a song title or something?
Yeah, so on their second, album called Supermodel, they have, a song called A Beginner's Guide to Destroying the Moon, and that's, like, always
Oh,
been one of my favorite songs ever. It, like, samples A$AP Rocky, I think. Like,
okay.
really crazy song, really beautiful, and I just always loved that name, so I kinda wanted to play on it, and I went with Moon Destroyer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a killer name. Definitely
Thank
sparks
you.
intrigue. So what would you describe your music as? Because when I hear that name, I think immediately like Monster Chugs, like it's got to be something metal related, right? But
Yeah,
is it? I don't know.
no, not at the well, it's kind of evolving into more of, like, an electronic pop
Okay.
project, but, like, originally, what my first release, I was featured, um, by the artist I Should Be Floating, which is, like, a local artist I know from my hometown in Erie,
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, and he does kind of like it's like, Aesop rock meets, like, Death Grips.
Mm.
Really cool stuff, but
So it's
yeah,
very
I was
experimental.
yeah, yeah. And then since then I've done like a pop song, I've done kind of like an existential electronic song. So it's kind
Yeah.
of going in some directions that I'm
Yeah.
excited about.
Well, that's cool. I mean, the thing is like where music is headed. Like a lot of the artists that I talk to, it's like we've kind of evolved past like the clickiness of music, and now it's
Mhm.
really just like we're to me it seems like most of the populace is kind of getting on the same page, and I'll kind of leave that statement as it is because uh it could mean a lot of things, and I do mean a lot of them by saying it. But we're all kind of coming to this crossroads where, for one thing, we kind of are starting to understand that with the death of all of the individual music genres, now it kind of is time to just take something from everything. It's like everything's been done. So like what
Mhm.
is the next thing, the next logical step forward is to kind of combine everything. And that one viral, uh, what's her name? I don't know her name whatsoever, but she's got that one song that's like, "Shut the fuck up," you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've seen her everywhere. She did that shit on American Idol, blah, blah, blobbity fucking blah, but, she did say something in an interview that resonated with me that I saw in, like, an Instagram clip somewhere, and that was like, "Now the artist is the genre."
Mhm.
Because she does have, like, these, different kind of genre switches and stuff like that, and I'm definitely, like I mean, me personally, like, I love hip hop.
Mhm.
I play multiple different instruments because I just love music. So, I mean, that's kind of where we're all at. So there's, like, no wrong answer, and in years past, there was a wrong answer, like, if you didn't kind of, like, fit the gatekeeper's kind of description of what your band should be in order to be successful, then that entire community kind of like shunned you. And now I think we've kind of evolved past that because I'm hoping that it's really just a rise in collective consciousness, or at least like a nod to it.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the topics that you've written about recently that you find important to you?
Yeah, so my I don't know, all my songs have been kind of like emotional. As a songwriter, I'm very much like of the stance of like it doesn't really matter what the songs mean to me. Like I want everyone to kind of make their own
Mhm.
interpretation, but coming at it from my angle of writing, it's been a lot of like character writing where I'm kind of putting myself in these situations where someone's like at a party and they're so upset that they don't really care if it's not the best situation and
Yeah.
like I made this song called Can't Sleep. I'm the best sleeper ever. Like
Yeah.
and it's just about somebody like staying awake because they're in a really bad spot with their relationship. So
Mm,
um yeah, it's been interesting to kind of explore that more like emotional side and that more character driven side of
mhm.
songwriting with this project.
And that is actually, I mean, I wouldn't call it a weakness because anytime I have tried my hand at it, it is something that is like, I can do it,
Mm,
but I don't think I do it quite as well as I would like to. The big challenge for me, um, is so, like, I find that, I often have to write everything that I write from, like, a place of, like, like a personal emotion. uh I want my stuff to be authentic, so I always usually, if it hasn't happened, eventually it's something that manifests in some way. I don't know if it's like a subconscious thing
mm,
or otherwise, but for that reason I'm very conscious about what I write. Also, I also think about, like, so now we understand that, I don't know if you know this, but so Sony and, like, all of the other big label heads. Let me preface this by saying that the CIA did not create gangsta rap, but they definitely funded it for a very specific reason. And I think at this point it's kind of, taken its toll. I think everybody kind of understands where that train of thought is going. It was to destroy a populace.
mm,
Um And they've succeeded, and they continue to succeed as long as people still buy your fucking, Charlie XCX, your fucking, whatever. I mean, that is literally what killed hip hop, to be honest with you. Anybody that supported fucking Jay-Z or continues to support them, like, as long as they have your attention and then they're winning. So, really what I begin to see the shift being, is like, everybody shifting away to stuff about writing from a place of authenticity, personal, stories, and then also kind of making it cool to not fucking want to throw yourself off a cliff, basically. You know what I mean?
mm,
Because that, don't get me wrong. I've said this in conversations with people before, and that is that as artists, it is our duty, it is our responsibility to be able to articulate how we feel, whether instrumentally or lyrically. Um, but as a human being, it's your responsibility to be able to move on from those feelings.
mm,
So, like, the whole sad boy thing, like, I've met a lot of musicians who think that they have to live a certain way and be a certain level of shitbag just so that, oh, it makes my music better. Like, no, it just makes you shittier. It
yeah,
just makes you, like, more low vibrational. And with, you know, the rise in the rise in, what's the word I just used it, like, consciousness, the rise in consciousness in general. Uh, a lot of people are kind of shifting away from that and shifting towards more positive things. And I mean, the whole idea in Punk Bordello is like, I love rock and roll. I love the sound. I just don't love all, my heroes kind of at a certain age, once the veil had been kind of lifted. Maybe that was because I became an adult, or maybe because, we just learned a little bit more about their private, you know, doings and shit like that. Uh, unfortunately, I can't negate where a lot of my influence came from, but what I can do is say, I'm taking your fucking sound and I'm making it cool to not be a shitbag. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, so yeah, I say fuck, I say shit, but I also tell people in my music, like, you don't have to be such a bag of shit. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. Like, literally, it's about the person to your left and to your right. It's, you know what I
right,
mean? There's meaning beyond, um, you know, money, drugs, and rock and roll, And
yeah,
honestly, none of that shit is cool to me anymore. There's like and the other thing is, like, the normalization of betrayal. Like, once you get up to, like, the highest tier of it, you think about somebody like Dave Grohl, like that. I don't really give a fuck about what a rock star does in their life, you know what I mean? But it's to me when you've gone to such great lengths to paint this image of, "Oh, I'm such a good guy," and this, that, and the other thing, and then it all comes crashing down. Like, I can't listen to the Foo Fighters anymore because of all that shit. Not because
because of
he
the
because he did those things, is like, because he deceived so many people for so fucking long, you
right.
know? It absolutely ruined the music for me, and then, I'm, like, at the gym that I work at, and I hear the new Foo Fighters shit, and I'm just like, "This just sounds like somebody who constantly rationalizes betraying people and just
Mhm.
throws a song out about it like, "Oh, check out my new record." Like, at this point, I'm like, I gave so much hate to Courtney Love for so many years, thinking that, the whole conspiracy about her, killing Kurt was true, and now I'm like, "Oh, well, now it kinda seems like this motherfucker was crooked from the start." So, there's that whole lore and everything, but
Yeah.
before I stray too far away from the point, it's like you can be whatever you are, just don't be ashamed to be it. Don't sit there and try to hide it. Like, I mean, fucking Sebastian Bach, for example. Like, I still like him, and the only reason is because, like, yes, he's kind of a piece of shit. I don't know that I would ever, like, hang out with him,
Mhm.
but at least he's authentically himself, like, you know what I mean? Like, at least he's
Yeah.
not parading around like, "I'm such a nice guy, and I feed the homeless, and I do this, and I do that." It's like, because I would
Mhm.
rather never hear about a single good thing that you've done until the day you pass away than have, a flip turn, just, a fucking failed PR campaign kinda flip around and taint my whole image of somebody, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't wanna live a life where there's a whole secret element to it, you know what I mean? Like, it's just too much work to try and fucking lead people down this rabbit hole when really you're into sick and fucked up things, even if that sick and fucked up thing is just a rationalization of betrayal. Because it's like, you do have to have, like, a different kind of mindset to do shit like that to people. It's a symptom of narcissism, and I'm not fucking with that because, I have been all around. I've been broke in every fucking city, you know what I mean, for
Mhm.
somebody else's fucking music before, and, I mean, all these same people are just for them, it's just a vacation where they can go cheat on their fucking wives, and then the moment that I realized that, all this shit, I realized, "Oh, fuck, I'm stuck with these people. They're gonna fuck me over." So
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean? I don't wanna rationalize that to anybody. I don't wanna put that message forward. I don't wanna cover your fucking music anymore type shit, you know what I mean? If that is the kinda human
Yeah.
being that you are. I've seen it a million times, and I've writ in the song that I wrote, "Scumbag Olympics," under Del Jones. It's a metal song.
Mhm.
Um that's exactly what I said. I said I've seen it in so many people all across the world, and it's tired, it's boring, it's never changing, and it doesn't even do anything for you in the long run because you have to pay for all of your transgressions at some point or another, and that's not even speaking like religiously. That's just the way of life. That's karma. You can call it whatever the fuck you want, but it's gonna come back to you in one way, shape, or form. So
Totally.
that
Yeah.
is kind of like, what my artistic, approach is in terms of, like, writing music and everything, and it would be advantageous to me to be able to do, more of, like, a character thing. The other thing is, like, some of my themes, like, I'm wrapping up this current record right now, Chicago Style, but, it although that is a concept album, it's a concept album that's true to my life, and I think, like, the next, challenge for me would probably be writing from that perspective, like, taking myself outside of my own shoes and trying to put myself into somebody else's shoes who I have damn near nothing in common with, and trying to see things, uh, from, an empathetic standpoint there. Because I do think about that. Like, we think about, sorry, not we hear oftentimes from society like, "Oh, nobody fucking cares." And it's like, okay, well, if we're talking about, like, how to be the difference that you wanna see in the world, first of all, not nobody fucking cares because I fucking care. I do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
not like to say that, you know, it's not to say that I care about like everything in everybody, because again, you have like all those, shitbags that are littered
Mhm.
amongst everybody. But a lot of people when they see like a stadium full of people, you know what I mean? Say you're looking at your idol, whether it's Foster the People or it's Prince or it's fucking Guns N' Roses or whatever the fuck. Like you see them playing to all of these people, a stadium full of people, and what other people see is like, oh, look at all this success, look at all this success, but it commodifies the people that are in all of those seats. What I see is a bunch of stories that I will never, I mean, putting myself in the shoes of the artist, if I was looking at that. I mean, anytime I have been in like a situation where I'm playing to a sold out crowd, before the first note even plays, I just look out into the sea of all these people and I'm like, all of these people are, these are all stories. These are all like, you know, this is all somebody's mother, brother, sister, cousin, aunt, you know what I mean? They're all
Right.
stories that there's not enough time in my lifetime to be able to learn all of them, but there's beauty in all of them. There's hurt, there's suffering, there's joy, there's all kinds. Everything that I have felt is also in all of these stories, and I have the privilege of being in something because I mean, a lot of the gigs I played to sold out crowds for was usually like hired on stuff I was hired on for. So it's just kind of
Mhm.
the experience of stepping onto a stage and like, whoa, all these people are here, you know. But it's all these stories that I would never have enough time in my life to hear all of, but for some reason they're connecting to this thing I'm doing, and
Mhm.
that, I mean, even just being on the stage, just being in that spot to play the music that they came to hear is kind of like when you're in it, it's like very much like a privilege and an honor.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody sees it that way or if it's just me, but that's what goes through my mind every time I see that. And I try to be true to that because I feel like if and when I get to the success that I desire, as long as I hold on to that and that mindset, it'll keep me grounded. Because I would never want to be the type of person that sells something fake. I mean, that's the whole staple of my brand is like everything is prim and polished and fucking, gone through with hours and hours of meticulous shit. And for me, my goal in life now, as it stands, because I've achieved some, but my next goal that I want to achieve in my life is just churning out a fucking live record in front of
That's
like
awesome.
it doesn't even have to be the biggest crowd, but just like a good crowd of people that are there for the music,
Yeah.
not for me, but for the realness and the rawness of the shit that I'm trying to do. And that's a personal perspective, but what I'm trying to circle around to, sorry about the tangent that I
Oh,
just
you're
went on.
good.
Also, sorry to everybody for the fucking tangent that I just went on. I'm known to do it. Um, but my question to you is, so give me an example of like of I would prefer like whatever you think is your favorite, what you connect to the most. How did you put yourself in this character's shoes? Like explain, give me one that you can dive off the deep end with and be like, so this is like how it started and this is how I got to where it is.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's a good question. Um, Speaking about what you were saying, I definitely think people value authenticity. Like that's that's why when David Grohl does stuff, the whole world gets mad,
Yeah.
because we viewed him as like a super innocent family guy. But anyways, there's definitely like is a real part of me in the project. I don't know if it's because like I was a theater kid growing up, so it's kind of natural to
Mm,
put yourself into a character, but also acknowledge it's a character.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that's really it. Just kind of this idea of creating this character that maybe isn't necessarily who I am all the time, but
Mhm.
maybe more of what I want to see and what I wanna see in the world, if that
Right.
makes any sense.
Absolutely. No, it absolutely does. I mean, the two ideas are very closely aligned,
Yeah,
and there's authenticity even in just that, which is funny because you would think like playing a character would kind of dilute the authenticity, but it's not in the idea that you're putting yourself in the shoes of this character, but rather what makes it authentic is being able to empathize to a point where it feels real. It feels
totally.
like you know what I mean?
Right.
And I definitely think that that is gonna be something that your audience connects with. So what is, do you have, like, a favorite character that you've like, a not like a favorite character, I guess, because if I think about it, if I take a step back and think about it myself, like, somebody asked me to pick, like, which one of my songs is my favorite, it'd probably be, like, trying to tell a mother to pick her favorite child, you know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
like, uh, but so here, let me start here actually, because this is a question I meant to ask earlier. So, like, how big is your catalog? How many songs have you released?
So far so I did the feature, and that was 4 songs on an album, that was with, I Should Be Floating,
Mhm,
and then since then, I've released 3, and I have another coming out next month, and, my goal for this year is to release music, like, every 8 weeks, which
mhm,
is a tough goal, but, yeah, so that's what I have in my catalog so far, and I think the
yeah,
one that I connect with, like, the most is probably this upcoming one with A Stranger, that's
yeah,
coming out next month on June 20th.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Well, that's gonna be an excerpt. I'm gonna tell the AI right now, clip this part right here so that we can plug that June 20th release.
Heck yeah.
Um, but yeah, so what is that called?
With A Stranger.
With a Stranger. Okay. So what is that song about?
Yeah, so it's about, I'd mentioned it earlier, but it's about this, like, girl who is just so, like, in a dark place that she's at a party where she's not, like, really feeling safe, but she just doesn't care
Right.
because of that darkness.
Have you so what explain that because I mean, you have obviously had to have been this happens to most women unfortunately because I have
Yeah.
sisters. I'm aware of horror stories. Um but you've obviously been in a situation like that at least one point or another, yes?
Yeah.
So like how did that story evolve from just a personal place into like a place that could probably connect with maybe people who are kind of experiencing depression. Like that's what you're referencing when you say the darkness, right? Is like depression.
Yeah, kind of like
Okay.
depression, there definitely could be more to that, but yeah, mainly depression, maybe
Okay.
some anxiety as well.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think like you said, just every woman has experienced that, and, like, also being a woman in the music industry and, like, doing shows and stuff, no offense, but, like, some people are just not, they're just kinda trash, like,
Well, one
and
thing I gotta just throw in there, because I know that. So my girlfriend is also a lead singer in her band, The Hangovers, um, and I mean this is a thing that is kind of a complex issue because
Mhm.
even men aren't safe. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
From other
totally.
men, obviously. Very rarely has it ever been, I mean, see, the thing is like because of that experience, I feel like women are much more like I feel safer around women in the music industry than I do around other dudes because I mean, you just take any given number of different people, and this is obviously not as like there's good and there's bad. Obviously,
Mhm.
I've had good experiences. I've had bad experiences. I've had good experiences with people who have negative reps and, all kinds of things said about them. And I'm like, "Well, what?" And
Yeah.
then I've also had negative experiences with people that, uh, other people just seem to fucking revere. And, it reminds me of, like, this I mean, it's all a gray area, and the one thing that I know for sure is that I know nothing, and that I trust nobody, even, if
Mhm.
I trust them or want to trust them more. Um, and the thing is, like, I've had good experiences with people who, my girlfriend has been like, "Oh, yeah, that motherfucker was, like, absolutely eyeing me up and just, like, made me feel super uncomfortably, tried to stiff me. I had to get my bandmates and, we walked out with nothing because I just didn't wanna be bothered with it, and that
Right.
to me is unacceptable. So, I mean, the other thing is, I've also and I feel like this has a little bit more to do with people's own insecurities, but I've been treated differently kinda damn near the entirety of my career, and I don't know if that's just because of the sheer love that I have for music and, I mean, I've gone to very, um, extreme lengths to, kind of have, like, a professional, uh knowledge and technical expertise on each instrument, and it
Mhm.
just kinda happened because I
Yeah.
love all of the instruments that I play. I can't s I've been called a show off a lot of times, and it's not because I'm trying to show off, it's because I love what the fuck I do.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I honestly, like, when people ask me, like, what instrument I play, it's become like this, this whole thing of like, are they going to treat me differently when I say that I play all these things? Are they going to reduce me in their head? Are they going to underestimate me? Are they going to just call me a show off and just blow me the fuck off? Like, it's
Mhm.
like, it makes me feel bad for just like having respect for everything that I've learned. And it's a weird conundrum to be in, but the takeaway that I've learned is, you know, do not let other people make you second guess yourself. First and
Right.
foremost, that's the first thing about this business is that you have to have the ultimate conviction to know that you are that artist for yourself. And I mean, I think honestly, when a little kid comes up to you after a show and just like thinks the world of you, that is kind of like the most like heartwarming kind of thing
Yeah.
that makes you want to keep going no matter what anybody fucking says. Um, and kind of coming back to the point here is it's not even easy for all men, especially if you do kind of have that underlying respect for everybody. You want to see everybody thrive. I mean, number
Mhm.
one, no, just because you want to see everybody do well does not mean everybody wants to see you do well. So it's kind of
Right.
important to that's a very important little asterisk there to take on the chin before you even walk out the gate and start trying to perform. But I mean, as you as you go down the road, like you'll find yourself in these very weird situations where you don't even necessarily like know what the right answer is, but the you're just trying to make it home in one piece. And I
Right.
think that is the most I mean, that is kind of the thing that I relate to most about the female struggle in the music industry is that, like, I mean, sometimes in order to not get shorted, I have to fucking corral my bandmates together to go talk to the venue owner so that they're not just like trying to because I'm not the tallest dude out there.
Mhm.
So there always is gonna be that element of, some dude thinking that I'm fucking scared of him or some shit and trying to be all big and like, "Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we said 200, right?" No, motherfucker, we
Totally.
said 4. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. I
just because I'm not threatened by it doesn't mean that it doesn't help to have more people behind you just in the moment, you know?
totally. I mean, I think a lot of people, like, feel that who interact with, like, the scene or the industry, whether it's, like,
Yeah.
people who just truly care about music, and maybe this is more of a show where it's all about the promoter walking away with as much money as they can and not treating artists fairly. Maybe it's kids interacting with the scene for the
Right.
first time. Maybe it's the queer community. Maybe it's
Yeah.
people of color. Like, I feel like a lot of people have maybe gone into situations where they've felt like I'm the only one in this room and
Yeah.
who feels this way.
Yeah, and I mean, ironically enough, that is being able to reach those people when you feel like that yourself is how you cultivate a more loyal fan base. You know what I
Mm,
mean? That
yeah.
comes for you, that'll drive fucking states over just because they like your shit. And
Yeah,
that is very heartwarming. That's another thing that makes you want to keep going no matter what.
totally.
Um, but, coming back to the whole thing of, promoters and that whole thing, there was a time when, a promoter's job was to fucking promote the show. A lot of people forget that, part of like, even back in the day when you were a brand new band, say this is, like, your first show, part of the whole thing of why a band would wanna play at your fucking venue is because people would at least a couple fucking people would be there.
Right.
Um, and now we've moved away from that. You have the whole pay to play thing that I dealt with, in my first years as a musician, and that is just a fucking it just honestly, that stomped it out, and then COVID came around and just stomped everything else out. And then now we're at this point where it's the industry is fledgling, and it's honestly I've been in so many rooms where people had the right answer right in front of them. It would have made everybody feel better. It would have made them look better. It would have made them play better. And because of their egos, they still turn left anyway. I've come to
Mm,
so many instances in life where I'm like practically spoon feeding a grown fucking adult this fucking answer right here, and I'm trying to just lead them to the water so that they drink and just fucking eliminate the problem, but they can't get out of their own fucking way. And so the drummer for Night Spice, Mark Aces, uh was on this podcast, and he said the same thing. He said, like, I mean, the main reason people don't succeed is because they get in their own fucking way. They can't get out of their head. They can't, just it's
right.
what I've noticed is that there's gonna be a lot of shit that what I mean. Maybe it's not your place to say anything about. Um, Maybe you're on the road and you can't really, you're trapped with these people, so you can't really, do too much because again, egos and insecurities and all that kind of shit. But all of that stuff just gets in the way in the music. Like
Mhm.
if you're, the thing is like I'm most grateful for my perspective as a drummer because it has forced me in so many instances in order to just have the gig and get paid to like pull back my ego to just serve the music as I am contracted to serve it. Um, and the first time, it's very difficult because it feels like a personal attack, especially if you're doing something that is musically, like in terms of theory, correct. You know what I mean?
Mm,
But the thing that's humbling is kind of hearing that suggestion, putting your ego aside as hard as it is, and then having, realizing later, like, oh, I see now why. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, totally.
maybe 30-second note triplets on this fucking pop song wasn't the right call. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah.
maybe over a live sound system that's designed for like a very basic kind of groove, maybe it kind of just sounds like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
literally, like so, especially to like casual listeners and stuff. If that's who is there for the gig, um, so being able to kind of remove your ego from the equation is a huge asset. But I've noticed in so many instances that it is a lot of people's biggest hindrance, and you take that and you translate that to promoting in business. And I mean, the music industry is exactly that. It's musicians, but it's also everything else. It's the industry that everything is comprised of. So even if all musicians could be on the same page, and I mean they're not. They're I mean we are infamously without any kind of organization to, make shit better for everybody. It's like every musician is at each other's throats. It's very fucking
Mm,
wrong.
right.
Um, but the other thing is, it's very, it's very difficult to really. Fuck, I forgot what I was saying. No, no, I got it. I got it. It's very difficult for people to get out of their own way, but you take that and you apply it to different promoters, and you also have to consider that not everybody's a good person.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I want to believe the best out of everybody, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, part of what is supposed part of my role as a leader is to make sure that my people stay safe. Because if
Absolutely.
something happens to my drummer, my bass player, another singer, a guitar player, say we're on the road, everyth's fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't leave it. No, you can't leave anybody behind. And then the other thing is that you have to learn how to at least cooperate to a professional degree, especially if you're living on a tour bus with people for X amount of weeks or months. So, I mean, when you have that mentality, and you think about how everybody in the industry themselves outside of being a musician is just out for themselves and out for their bottom line. It much less serves the music and much more serves the individual, which is a problem.
Mhm.
And then the other thing is there's so many people that are just clamoring for, a couple of fucking crumbs. Like if you think about a venue paying $50 for a keg and charging $7 for a single drink, a single beer. Oh my God, they're making so much fucking money hand over fist if it's actually packed out.
Yeah.
Um, and then, they'll oftentimes to try to I mean, it's a famous trope of the industry that they'll, pay the band crumbs. And then, they're fucking they're fucking struggling to the next show in the next state, like, "Oh, do we have enough gas to get there?" Like, I fucking hope so. Um, and it sucks because nobody teaches you how to invoice like it. But one thing I have heard
Mm.
recently is it was like on some Facebook group community boards like, "Oh, I'm not I know all these bands like want guarantees, but do you have a following that will guarantee that, the guarantee you're getting?" Like, my brother in
Yeah.
Christ. My
And it's
brother in
like
Christ, you are the promoter.
yeah,
This
and
has
it's like,
always been your job.
did you post it online? Did
What?
you invite people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is like sometimes you gotta have grace too, because like sometimes bands will do everything they can. I've spent up to fucking $500 on ads before for a show that nobody showed up to.
Yeah.
And I get it. I guess if I'm the one that is at the helm of everything, then I'm apparently, not apparently, I'm the one that has to take responsibility for that. I have to say I dropped the ball. But how? I did everything I could. I asked
Yeah.
everybody. You know what I
And
mean? Like,
it it's such a gamble. Like, all you can really do, I feel like, in those situations is just try your best. But I it definitely is frustrating sometimes when you're like, "Don't you want this to be a success too?" Like,
yeah.
come on, let's all work together.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not gonna throw any shade to that promoter specifically because I know the other gentleman that he works with is a drummer himself. Um and him himself, he's very integrated into pop shows. I see the thing is like I understand that a business needs to make their bottom line, and I understand that sometimes that means that you gotta put on a tribute band or a cover band, but, like, my suggestion to that would be like, okay, we gotta do tribute bands, cover bands, just so the bar can make their bottom line, but why not put, like, a really like, not your fucking nephew or your cousin's band or this, that, or the other thing or some friends you fucking knew, like, find the best musically talented band that you can find in your area, you know what I mean, that would be
Mhm.
willing to play a show, and yeah, give them a guarantee between a cover tribute band. You know what I mean? Put them right in the fucking middle so that they can gain a following. You know what I mean? And that's how you kill two birds with one stone. But see the
Yeah.
thing is like there's just such a fucking I played in a tribute band and just the absolute disdain that the leader of the band had for being yourself, like, I mean, was just laughable. It's like, because I my whole life I've had to deal with the whole trope of having a Green Day voice, right?
Mm.
And the thing about that is, like, that's just how the fuck I sing. It's not like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to do that. But if it gets me the gig in something that's paying, then hey, shit, I'll sing all the Green Day songs in the fucking world. You know what I mean? At least for the bag.
Yeah.
But I didn't I wasn't gonna go up there and try I would do the show exactly the way that Green Day would, but I wasn't gonna pretend I'm fucking someone else and add Joe Armstrong to my fucking, the end of my last name. Like, to me, that's like, if you're gonna be in a tribute band, a Green Day tribute band should be like the one you can be the most authentic in, right? Apparently,
Mhm.
I'm fucking wrong for that. Alright. Okay. But this whole culture, like, because original artists can see the purpose of a cover band, original band, but it's almost like the insecurity of people who are afraid to play their own music is like, because I told all these people in this band, like, "You guys are great musicians, like, you could release your own original shit and use the Green Day
Mhm.
shit as, like, a platform." And it's like, "Why are you not doing that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
it's
mean,
it
yeah.
it's I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are afraid of their own true potential, and when they see somebody else who's not afraid to unlock it or is afraid and just does it anyway, um, they feel this need to just, like, stomp them down, and it's like, we're literally all kind of on the same team here, like, you're a musician, I'm a musician, and the best place to kind of think about, like, healthy competitive nature is in bands that are, not just successful, but, like, have had the same core members for a while, i.e., I'm just gonna bring it back to Green Day, like, when Green Day took, Blink-182 out on the road for the first time, right? Uh
Mhm.
Mark Hoppus of, Blink-182 said that, like, I mean, we grew up listening to Green Day's music, so it was kind of weird to be headline it to have your heroes opening for you.
Right.
And, I mean, the whole attitude is exactly what you would expect out of good sportsmanship if you've ever played any sport, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's like, yes, we can all be friends. We can all we love all the same things, and especially if you're talking about similar genres, we probably all like the same fucking influences and everything. So, but when it comes to stage time, that's the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're gonna go out there and we're gonna try and beat your ass into the dust, and you are gonna go out there after us and try to beat our asses into the dust. And that's how you out like if you have this habit with your friends and your peers of healthy competition, like not competition just for a dick swinging contest, like healthy competition so you do your best and then they do their best. And if their best is a little better than what yours was that night, you're gonna try and do even better than you did the last night. That's healthy because it's constantly, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
inspiring everybody to do even better than they did the day before. And that if that's not a great metaphor for how to live life, I don't know what else is.
Totally. Yeah, completely 100%.
But so what performances do you have coming up? What performances have you played recently that you enjoy? Start with the ones you got coming up.
Yeah, so, actually, it's funny we were talking about promoting because I recently, put together a bill, so on July 5th at Underground Lounge, I'm doing, like, a pop focus night,
Hmm.
so it's me, and then I also have Alex Noel Miller, who will be doing a more, like, art pop
Hmm.
influence set, and, the headliner is Ellie Zaid,
Hmm.
who's doing, like, an indie folk pop-based, performance. It should be a really good show. So,
That's
July
good.
5th, at Underground Lounge for anyone who's interested.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And then so what? How? So let me rephrase the question I asked previously.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite performance that you've done this of 2025 so far?
So far, I got to perform in Lancaster as a part of Launch Fest, which was
Mhm.
really cool. There weren't a lot of people there, but it was just cool to, like, go to a music conference and perform in front of some of the people I met there. So
And
that so far I think has been really good.
what is your performance like? Do you have like any do you have musicians behind you? Is it just you and your instrument or you have backing tracks?
Yeah, so it's just me. Actually this year I've only done acoustic shows so far, which I'm
Oh,
trying
okay.
to, like, branch out of. But yeah, I'll do an acoustic show. But I also have a fully electronic set that I mix, like, live keyboard and guitar, with backing tracks with live vocals, of course, as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
kind of doing a lot of stuff at one time, but it's
no,
really fun.
that's okay. Honestly, I feel like it's really important to be able to um kind of play to your audience, but also play to your booking
Yeah.
because I mean, the acoustic thing is just I've just learned how valuable it is because most people are not into the whole avant-garde like genre blending thing. You got to
Mhm.
remember that people our age are the people with the least amount of money for the first time in history.
Right.
Unfortunately, as much as I hate that sentiment, it is the truth.
Yep.
So, where you're gonna be able to make most of your money is probably from doing stuff that's a little bit more acoustic. And my only thing to say to that is probably don't let go of the acoustic thing like that can definitely be a bag for you.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
I mean, just the way that I'm thinking about it, even for myself, is like I'm probably gonna like double down on the acoustic stuff, and then just let Punk Bordello, the punk house, and then the metalcore stuff, which is the metalcore stuff is really just for me. Like I just released a song 2 fucking days ago. I've told nobody about it, basically. Like.
Promote it, promote it.
I know, but it's just the thing is like it's so difficult in terms of like just getting that audience there because again it comes back to like the community and I feel like the community has kind of stomped out most of its authenticity, at least like
Mhm.
musicians amongst musicians in metal, and it's very like if it's not metal I don't care, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's certain loyalty in that, but the thing is like I've always been an outsider even amongst like the outsiders. Like that's why punk has always been kind of my home is because that's the whole subculture is for everybody that feels out of place that this music's for you.
Yeah.
Um and especially now that I dabble in a bunch of different genres, um I feel that all the same. Like it just feels like a continuation of everything I've experienced my entire life. So I release the metalcore stuff just because I love metalcore and
Mhm.
I mean, shit, I'm not even tuning as low as I would, like to, but I mean, just in terms of practicality with all the other shit I have to do, I had to, compromise. Like, okay, well, I can't play in drop G, so now I have to play in. So now I gotta play in drop C. So there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. It's where it started. I guess that makes it home, but
Yeah.
it's a place to go from. But it just it's not so much that, I don't care about promoting it. It's just that I know that that music is gonna find its audience on its own. I'm not expecting radio play from it. I'm expecting maybe, like, if I get if one of the other things I'm working on, like, gains significant traction, I'm expecting, like, 1 out of 1,000 people to mention, anything off of, the record I'm putting out under Del Jones. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and then it'll be like, "You're a real fan." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kinda like my little, like, special in club with, people who really fuck with me. Um,
That's rad. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah, it's that is really my heart because it's like, it's, the world's fucked up and I'm angry about it. So,
Yeah.
it's me shouting at the world to be a little bit better. And then PunkBordello is, I mean, the current album is like a concept album, but the general takeaway from it is, the same thing, but, a little dancier.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's Silk and Satin, which is, my acoustic duo that I do with my girlfriend, and, that is kind of like the money bag. That is like, the folkier stuff. Cause I mean, I like folk guitar too. I won't go to country, but that's my line in the sand. But if I have to play something between the 2 and, when we get around to, like, Nashville or Memphis, well, I feel like it's easier to captivate a country crowd with folk music
Mhm.
and a blues crowd. I mean, I can just play a couple of blues hits. It's like
Yeah.
folk is kinda like the middle ground between, like, country and oh, shit.
Yeah.
Between country and blues, you know what I mean? So it's like I can be as bluesy as I want, and it'll still be, received well, and it'll also translate to a country crowd, which is decent because it's just weird to see that polarity be so, like, stark between Nashville and Memphis.
Yeah.
Um, Especially on their main streets, like, I don't know what the main street is on, in Nashville, I forget what it is. Um
Broadway? Is that what you're
Yeah,
thinking about?
Broadway,
Yeah.
Broadway. So, Broadway, and then in Memphis, it's Beale Street. So, like, you know, um I mean, shit. It's just why I prefer Memphis just because it's like it feels much more grounded. And
Mm.
the bar that I played at was with this guy who like knew Jimi Hendrix personally. Like he owns the bar,
Wow.
and I mean, fuck, man. I mean, my whole goal at this point in life is to just kind of just make it right back there, just so that I can be like, I'm not playing bass now. See, I'm much better at guitar.
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I just feel like there's so much more history in history of authenticity and culture in Memphis, and I guess the same is true for Nashville. Some would argue, but I mean, to
Yeah.
me, it's
Nashville's
a
a
little
weird
bit.
place right now.
It's. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about it, but it's definitely hella whitewashed.
Yeah, and it's like I grew up on country, like, specifically a lot of 90s and, like, early 2000s country, which, like,
Um,
I know a lot of people think is, like, the worst kind of country, but whatever.
well, just
But,
because it's
like
formulaic.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but, like, then, of course, like, my mom's really into Dolly Parton, so, like, that was a huge part of my childhood.
But that's good
Um
country, though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's the good country. Like
So
that,
it's like
Conway Twitty,
Dolly
Johnny
Parton and then
Cash.
Toby Keith, you know?
Yeah. Toby
Um,
Keith actually isn't a bad guitar player. Like, he's actually, like, really good at playing guitar. You know what I
I
mean?
it's a good music, it's catchy music, it's just more so, like the messaging and stuff, like, I don't know. It's a complicated subject, I guess.
I don't know. I
Um,
just feel like a lot of that stuff comes from, like, producers
yeah.
who feel the need to ruin everything, like, the whole have you okay, so side quest right quick, have you heard about the new Lilo& and Stitch movie?
Lilo and Stitch is my favorite childhood movie. So yeah, I've been following it very closely, and I've not seen the remake for probably several of the reasons we'll get into in just a second.
Yeah, so apparently they changed Ohana from meaning family to meaning, like, ward of the state or some shit.
Yeah, I heard that she, like, gives up Lilo so then she can go study marine biology in California, like, there aren't marine biology programs in native Hawaii, like
Like that oh my god. Like, someone said it was, like, University of Wisconsin, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? What is she go was she gonna study marine life in the Great Lakes? Where we've been dumping fucking toxic waste in for fucking 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 100 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh my god, and just every detail that I've heard about the movie has just, infuriated me. I don't consider myself like a Disney adult by any stretch of the imagination, but when I would babysit my nieces when I was about like 19, 20, uh,
mm,
we would stay up and watch Disney movies and that whole thing until they'd fall asleep. And, because of that, it has a special place in my heart. And so I want to, you know, that I give
yeah,
a little bit of a fuck about the messages because I know they're watching them. Um, and it's just like, how could you do that to Lilo and Stitch, bro? Like, who thought that was a good idea? Because, I mean, honestly, I fully believe that it's like intentional programming, and they're
oh,
counting on people to either be enraged by it or to love it untethered. And the thing is like, it's just too obvious.
yeah,
It's too obvious. It's like, do not get me wrong, like there's nothing there's the thing is like the whole movie is about family, so to just completely alienate from the point just tells me that to just screams your agenda right at everybody who loved the movie in the first place. And
yeah,
like of the Disney movies that I grew up with, Lilo and Stitch was probably among the favorites. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like if you asked me like what uh Disney's best animated movies are, Lilo and Stitch is probably one of the big ones, you
yeah,
know? So to just take that and just fucking shit all over it is just like you're obviously trying to send a message that is not advantageous to anybody. We already have like so many issues with just general um so I believe in individualism. I do believe that it can be a positive thing, but I also
mhm,
believe that hyper individualism is just a gateway to like fucking overtly selfish behavior. And
certainly,
overtly selfish behavior is, I mean, it comes back to just fucking a symptom of narcissism. So if you're trying to degrade the fabric of a society, you could definitely kind of start that whole avalanche with a message being in beloved programming like Lilo and Stitch. Like that
mm,
it just like it makes it too obvious to ignore and downright insulting.
yeah, it's just like it's just like such a weird choice and like kind of a sinister choice also. Like it just doesn't feel authentic. It feels just weird. It takes away from so much of the original plot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I will not be seeing it. I'll
Yeah.
stick to the original.
Yep. Hashtag boycott that fucking piece of garbage.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, so my I gotta cut it off right here. Here is gonna be your opportunity to what's the word? Reiterate any promotional things right now. What do you want people to go check out, and what do you want people to come to? I will try to see if I'll try to make sure that this episode is out to give you at least a week
Okay.
June 20th.
Yeah.
I am kind of like my, backstock of videos here is kind of, building up, but as soon as I know, I'll let you know. But
Okay.
June 20th, I know that for sure. Just
Yeah.
go down the list. Tell everybody you got, everything you got to promote so we can, throw that in a nice little clip.
Cool. Yeah, I have a few things coming up. So June 20th is the release of my next single, With a Stranger. It'll be released everywhere, wherever you stream your music, and hoping to have a video with that as well on the day of release. And then July 5th, I have a show coming up at Underground Lounge with me, Alex Noel Miller, and Ellie Zaid. And then way off in the future, don't know exactly when it's going to premiere. I have my partner and I have been working on this film called Bruise Violet, which is a homage to the early Riot Girl scene that I did an original composition for.
Mhm.
It's currently being worked on, being entered into festivals. But once that is done, we are planning on releasing that, hopefully in like a show manner, just putting it out in the world. So yeah, keep your eyes
That is
open.
that is really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to get, like, any kind of, like, film out there. Um, I mean, there's an insurmountable, not insurmountable, but, there's just a giant mountain of work that comes with that. So, hats
Oh,
off to you for actually doing that, and,
yeah.
I mean, being able to get into a film festival, actually.
Most of that is my partner. They're a film student at Columbia, very passionate about directing and acting. They did all that hard work that like I I'm glad I'm not in film. Like, watching them
Yeah.
go through that was crazy, and then now, like, having to fundraise and get donor perks out, and then also entering it into film festivals, like, it's a whole thing
Oh,
that just
yes.
takes so much work and organization. Like, truly hats off to any indie filmmakers out here.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, so on my last record, I did 10 music videos, and every time I had to shoot it and be in front of the camera, I paid, like, a friend and taught them how to use my camera,
Mhm.
like, paid them for their time and then, taught them how to use it. I edited everything myself and then, you know what I mean, put it all together myself, and it was just so much fucking work, and I know certain things, so that's good to have that body of knowledge just to be able to connect with people and basically kind of curate who I should hire for my own stuff.
Mhm.
But I will not be doing that again because it is just so much fucking work. And I did look into the whole film festival thing at that point, and that is just another whole like there's a reason why this used to be like an individual fucking person's job in years
Yeah.
past, you know? I feel like the whole thing of like how many hats we have to wear as like artists and creatives is just kind of um I it's just kind of undermined the whole process because, like, now
Yeah.
you gotta do, like, 20 different things just to get the same kind of fucking result, but I digress about that. We do have to, end it here, but that is actually really interesting to know. So 2 things. We should definitely hop on a show together because I
Yeah.
like your values. That's the thing is, like, when I look for artists to play with, I look for whose values I align with.
Yeah.
So,
I'd be so down.
that would be awesome. I'm just trying to finish this last record. I just gotta finish, like, guitars and vocals on, like, the last, like, 4 or 5 songs, and then it is good. At least the first edition of it can go on Bandcamp. So I guess I'm plugging myself there. But so as soon as I get through that and I get moved on to booking and regional and then booking tours, this record is what I'm going to be playing on for like 2-3 years probably. So
Yeah.
um, it's like 16, 17 songs just
Oh,
in
wow.
the first edition,
Awesome.
and then there's also going to be like bonus shit and a couple of meme songs because I for I couldn't bring it. I didn't have the heart to put it on the actual fucking record, but I wrote this song called GFYS, Go Fuck Yourself, and it's about my pitch manager that got me fired at Culver's.
That is so niche. I love that.
Yeah, and I just thought it would just make the funniest fucking, like, viral video, and I just wanna flesh it out for the meme, for the joke, you know what I mean? I'm sure that that dumb shit is what's gonna be, like, kind of my ace in the hole at some point, but, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's in existence. The core, you know, the stuff you can sort of take seriously is gonna be out and released pretty soon. But we should get on a show is the first thing. And the other thing is let me know when you have released the film as soon as it's available. I want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're hoping to do like a show slash release of the film.
Like a
Um,
showing.
a
Okay.
showing, but we're also planning on like hopefully inviting some local Riot Girl bands to come and perform.
Oh fuck
That's
yeah.
fingers crossed. This is like way down the line, so it's all in concept right now. But yeah,
Oh
so
my god, that sounds
would love
fucking
to have you
killer.
there.
Yeah, I would love to be there. But yeah, okay. So, any last notes for anybody?
Uh, stay safe. Have a great life. I don't know. Just yeah, keep
Emphasis
on
on that
being the
first one.
authentic you. Oh, personal. I don't have anything else to book, promote, or plug.
Oh
But
no, no, I was saying emphasis on the stay safe.
oh yeah,
Because apparently that is actually like a task now.
yeah, yeah. Stay safe out there.
But all right, thank you so much for being on. I'm sure we could keep on going here, but we'll leave some room and buffering space for the next one. Book yourself whenever you got something you know, something else to promote. Love to have you on again. It's been a pleasure.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been a great time.
Likewise, likewise. All right, take it easy. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Enjoy your coffee as I am enjoying mine.